Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay. So today we are gonna learn one more technique which is very much important for the market basket analysis. I think you might have heard this word. This it is very much used in recent times in many companies, in many stores actually. It is used for marketing as well, actually to identify which elements or which items go with other items and to keep it side by side or to even promote them to the customers who are buying the other items and make more sales out of it. So that is actually the market basket analysis. So this market basket analysis, how it will be performed is by this a priori algorithm. So what is this a priori algorithm? It is based on rule mining, association rule learning actually. So what is association rule learning, what is a priori algorithm, and how to apply it on how this algorithm works, or what the code which we need to do for applying this a priori algorithm. We'll look at it today. So coming to association rule learning, what is association rule learning? It is actually nothing but a kind of if and else statement, or we can say combining two items with respect to some condition. How that condition is made is by the reference. How we get a reference, all having previous data. Let's say we have a transactions data of some certain store or any data set. In the data set, in the transactions data set, we can see that a certain person is buying certain items together. Let's say here it is seen here the customer one is actually buying milk, bread and butter together, and the customer two is buying milk, cereal, bread and butter together, and then another customer is buying milk, bread, butter together, and another customer is buying sugar and eggs. See, sugar and eggs may not be used with other items, actually with other baskets. Actually these are kind of baskets. This is basket one, this is basket two, like that. Each customer is having each basket. So what happens is when a customer is buying certain elements together, we can identify which elements or which items he is buying together, so that we can promote them, or we can even put them together in a store, so that it will be easy for him to buy, and he will also the chances of buying those together will increase. So that is the main reason. What happens here, when we are already having a previous data like this, showing three baskets here, let's say in these three baskets we can see the common elements are milk, bread and butter, milk, bread and butter. So these milk, bread and butter needs to be kept nearby, so that the chances of purchasing these elements, when let's say a customer who wants to buy butter and bread, uh, previously he doesn't have an idea to buy milk, but he came to the store. After coming there and seeing the products together, milk, bread and butter, he might get an opportunity, or he might get a thought of buying the milk as well after seeing it. This is the rule which we go with. So how this association rule applies is, it takes the data, previously having data, and it identifies at each transaction. This is one transaction. In each transaction, what items are together, and how many times it is being repeated. It is being repeated here as well, milk, bread and butter, and it is being repeated here as well, milk, bread and butter. How many times it is being repeated in the overall transactions list. So with respect to that, we identify these set of items, which items go together. Those rules apply, like say if a person comes and buys, want to buy milk and butter, let's say. After coming there, he sees bread and he thinks, okay, let's take bread as well. So this rule applies, like the association rule here. How to write the association rule here is nothing but, if milk and butter, then bread, means nothing but if a person comes to buy milk and butter, then we need to promote bread to him. That is the association rule here. So similarly, we will identify different rules which are there in the already having data, and then we identify which items go together, and we easily do more marketing and get more sales. So it is like we are finding data items here, and here the dependency, actually we are checking the dependency of one data item on the other item, and accordingly we map it to make it more profitable. Coming to, let's say, as I already mentioned, it is like an if else statement. How the if else statement looks: if A, then B. Nothing but if a person comes to buy A, then we need to show him B so that he might purchase B as well. That is the main condition here. And here we see the if element is also called as antecedent, is nothing but a condition statement, we can say. And if whenever this condition statement occurs, then we need to promote some element, or we can say the other item which we promote, it is called as the B, or the statement, else statement. That statement is called as consequent. That means whenever something happens, the consequence of it happens. So these two are the nomenclature. Some may use, some may not use the same words, or we can even use the normal words like A and B in a subset. But coming to the relationship between these two, any two items, if there is certain relationship between any two items in a whole data set, then those two, the relationship is called as cardinality or single cardinality. It is the relationship between two items. But what happens if we are having certain similar relationships between more than two items? We are having, let's say, 1,000 items we have in our big store, and all the 1,000 items we were trying to find the relationships between them or the associations. So these relationships are called as multiple cardinality depending on the number of items. Actually, the cardinality increases. What happens? It increases when the number of items increases. So how to track, like how to understand which relationship needs to be preferred, or which relationship is more preferred. Let's say I have three elements A, B, C. I have three items in my store A, B, C, and let's say A and B are related, B and C are related, and also A and C are also related. So what happens, like A and B, B and C, and A and C? How to identify which relationship is more better than the other relationship? Let's say A and C never goes together, but how can we identify A and C relationship never goes together, and but A and B goes together? How can we identify that? For that, there are certain metrics. Those are designed in the association rule learning, or we can say those are pre-mentioned or predefined. So what are the metrics here we follow are, there are three types of metrics actually. First one is support, second one is confidence, and the third one is lift. So first one here we go with support. What is support? Support is nothing but the frequency of any data item. So let's say I have certain item called as an apple. An apple I'm selling fruits, different kinds of fruits. So I'm having an apple. So let's say I have per day there will be 10 customers to me, and I'm collecting all the data, all the transactions, what products they are buying, and I have a data set now. All the 10 transactions I have for one day. So next day I want to identify which other fruits go with this apple, so that whenever a person comes to buy an apple, I can ask, I can promote other products which he might like. So to identify that all the 10 customers which I already have, the data which I have, I will identify how many times, how many customers actually prefer to buy an apple first. The frequency of buying apple is identified here. Nothing but number of times an apple purchased in by overall transactions. Let's say out of 10 transactions I had, 6 or let's say 6 transactions have apples in it, like 6 customers bought apples from me. So nothing but here support of X will be what happens, support of apples here, right? Support of apples will be 6 by 10. This will be support. It is actually converted into percentage, nothing but multiplying it with 100, then we will get the support percentage. Other than that, this is support. Coming to confidence, how to understand this confidence is nothing but it is the frequency of two elements divided by the previous element. Nothing but let's say I have these 6 customers are buying apples, and in these 6 customers who are buying apples, they might also be buying some other fruits as well, right? Let's say 4 customers out of these 6 are buying oranges as well. So that means I have total 10 customers. Out of 10 customers, I have 6 customers who is buying apple, and in these 6 customers as well, the 4 customers who bought apple also bought oranges. That means there is a relationship between apple and oranges. So what is that relationship? How to identify the metric called confidence between the orange and apple? It goes like this: the frequency of apple and oranges divided by frequency of previous purchase. Whatever we're considering here, previous purchase, apple. So here frequency of x will be apple. So the confidence of x comma y, nothing but apple and orange will be the confidence. What will be? It will be number of transactions which is happened by where the customer purchased both oranges and apple. It is 4 divided by frequency of this. It will be 6. So this will be our confidence. Even this also multiplied by 100 to understand the confidence percentage. So this goes the support and confidence. This is how we identify what is support and what is confidence. In normal terms, we can say support is nothing but the frequency of an item appearing in our data set, and the confidence of an item or the group. Confidence is actually not calculated for just one item. It is actually calculated for the whole group. So when you are identifying a confidence for certain group of let's say data items, then the group of items, let's say they are divided into 2 parts, item X and item Y. Then these 2 parts will be how it will be the frequency of 2 parts happening together divided by the frequency of 1 part happened in overall transactions. This is how we identify the confidence. Now going to the last metric, the main actually, this is called lift. This is what actually defines whether there is any relationship between those 2 data items or not. So what happens is in the lift, actually lift, the formula of lift is nothing but it is shown as support of both elements which are going together divided by support of one element into support of other element. How we calculate support is with respect to this. With the help of this formula, we identify the support, and then with the help of support we identify the lift value. So whenever we get a lift value of between 2 items, we understand what is the relationship between these 2 items. How can we understand that? Lift, if the lift value of 2 items, let's say here X and Y are apple and oranges, like our previous example. So the lift of apple and oranges, let's say it is exactly equal to 1. That means the support of X and Y together divided by support of X and support of Y is almost same. That means this numerator equal to denominator. That means here there is no relationship between X and Y, means there is no relationship between apple and oranges. That means purchasing apple and oranges together is just a coincidence. There is no certain relationship that apple goes with oranges. That is what lift explains. If let's say lift is greater than 1, that means apple and oranges having certain relationship between them. That means whenever you whenever a customer purchases apple, the chances of purchasing oranges is high. If the lift is low, less than 1, that means there is a mutual substitute relationship. Nothing but if a person purchases an apple, he never purchases an orange. Or if a person trying to purchase an orange, he would never purchase apple. That is what minus lift less than 1. If the lift value is less than 1, that is what it identifies that these 2 elements or these 2 data items doesn't go together. That means if a person coming to buy an apple, he would never go with oranges. Like it is a substitute. Let's say another example for substitutes is tea and coffee. Whenever a person comes to drink a tea or whenever he orders a tea, he would never order a coffee, right? Isn't it obvious? A person drinking tea at the same time would love to drink a coffee. Would it happen anyway? So it is simple logic. These kind of logics what we understand here with the value of lift, whether those 2 go together or whether those 2 doesn't go together, or whether is there any relationship between those 2 or not. This is how we identify the lift. It doesn't not, it is nothing but the strength of any rule or nothing but any relationship. Here a rule is nothing but an association rule is nothing but any relationship between two data items, two or more. Actually it's not just exactly two, it can even go for more. uh, Coming to next one, we understood what is association rule learning. We even understood what are the metrics in it, and we even identified how to use those metrics to identify any association rule or nothing but any relationship between two data items. Now how can we use this for this a priori algorithm, which we can use in machine learning to apply on any kind of huge data sets, and we can go with this market basket analysis as well. How the market basket analysis is done is nothing but using this a priori algorithm. We will apply, we will find out the, we will do the market basket analysis. So how to apply this a priori algorithm? In a priori algorithm, we actually use this term called frequent item sets. What is this frequent item sets is nothing but how many times an item is being repeated, or nothing but a frequency, we can say a frequency of a item or frequency of item set. Here item set is nothing but a set of more than one or two items. So if we say frequency of an item, it is just frequency item, but here we are using more than one item. The set can have more than one items. That's why it's called item sets. And we will try to identify the frequency of it and how many times it is being repeated, and the highest frequent set, we identify that, and we go with backwards to we go backwards from it, and we try to identify a number of combinations which we can identify for achieving that target. And then we will apply, we will try to find out these association rules between them, between those two data items or the set of data items, and then we can easily identify whether these data, how these data items go with or this how the relationships go with. And we can even apply this knowledge on the theoretical side by grouping those items together while we are marketing those items. Even when we are in stores, mainly in stores, what happens is those items which are having a sale together, they are kept together so that the customer would feel easy to buy it, and would also, the customers who are not having an intent to purchase the third item might purchase the third item because he is from the set of, he is already buying the other two items from the data set which we have identified here. So this is how actually the association this is how the association learning works. So coming to next, how this this a priori algorithm, what does it do? How this a priori algorithm works. In a priori algorithm, it uses the breadth first search, nothing but the number of elements it is having together. From it searches each and every element from it, like each and every data set it's try to subset, and it tries to find out how many times the frequency of it is happening in the overall transactions. But and also how does this breadth first happens? Like breadth is nothing but if we are having a rectangle, let's say this is called length and this is called breadth, right? Nothing but a horizontal surface is called breadth and the vertical is called length. So the horizontal, we are considering here breadth first means horizontal, but horizontal of what? The horizontal of what is nothing but, here we use hash tree, kind of a hash tree. The hash tree hash tree looks exactly like a hierarchical cluster, but it is not hierarchical cluster. The hash tree is nothing but identifying different set of items. Here we are grouping the set of items. It might look similar to the hierarchical clustering, but here we are just combining the data items. And I will show you an example in the next slide, where you can understand how the hash tree looks like, and how the breadth first algorithm can be applied on it, or the this breadth first search will be applied on this to calculate the item association, or the efficiency, or the we can say the strength of two items or more than two items a set of items, actually a strength of a set of items is more, if let's say strength of items is more, then that means the chances of going them together, like the customer purchasing them together, will be high. So it actually, this a priori algorithm was given by R. Agarwal and Srikant in the year 1994. It is mainly used in market basket analysis, as I have already explained. Coming to what is frequent item set. Let's say frequent item set is nothing but actually the support is greater than the threshold value of, or we can say any minimum support which we have already tried to preset rules. These rules will be preset from us actually, and according to to those rules only we will try to identify the association rules. So what happens here is we try to find out the support of that data set, or we can say that data item. It needs to be more than the threshold value, or more than the user specified minimum support or minimum value of the support. So how we will identify this minimum specified value, or how to calculate this, we will go with it in the next slide. Currently we try to identify the frequent item set. What will be the frequent item sets? Here we can I will show you with an example. Here in the example we have A and B as two transactions here. Here A is a transaction. Okay. Here A is a transaction and B is a transaction. That means nothing but A is a customer, B is a customer. A is buying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different items. B is buying 3, 2, 3 and 7 different items. These are item numbers or item codes, let's say. So A and B are buying these two different items, these two set of different items. So what happens here, the item 2 and item 3 are being repeated. How many times they are being repeated? 2 times. There are 2 transactions. That means 2 times these 2 are repeated. What these 2 will be called as frequent item sets, or nothing but the set of 2, 3. Okay, the set of 2, 3 will be a frequent item set. What will be the where will this frequent item set will be identified? It is from the transactions. So how many times a particular set of elements are being repeated in different transactions, those will be called as frequent item sets. If it is not being repeated at all, then it is not called as frequent item sets. So that is how we identify frequent item sets. Coming to, I have mentioned, we go with the hash tree algorithm, right? How the hash tree works. Here, let's say this is transaction A, transaction B, transaction C, transaction D. We have certain transactions. And in this transaction, let's say in each and every transaction, we identified few set of elements. Let's say we have a certain 1, 2, 3 items are being purchased differently, and more items are being purchased, but these 3, let's say 1, 2, 3 are being repeated in all these 4 transactions. Or let's say here these 2 transactions we can identify 1, 2 as a common elements, and here we can identify 1, 3 as common elements, or nothing but they are purchasing together, 1, 2 and 1, 3. And let's say after we go with the next step, here we can see 1, 2, 3 are being common, as here 1, 2, 3. These 1, 2, 3 are nothing but different data items. In each and every transaction, if we try to identify, they might have common elements of each and every 2 data items might have different common elements. And let's say these 2 transactions are having these 2 common elements, and these 2 transactions are having these 2. But when we combine these 2, they might be having a different set of common elements, or we can say common data items. Those will be the next route. And if we compare these 2 and if we go for the next data set, we might get even another data set which might having more than these as well. So that will be the root data set. So this is how the data sets are first framed with respect to the number of items we have. Let's say let's say a previous example from the previous examples, let's say I have a fruit shop. I am selling different fruits. Let's take for example, I am selling 5 different types of fruits. And what will they be? Apple, orange, pineapple, banana, and guava. Let's say I am buying all these, I am selling all these 5 different types of fruits. So what happens is I am having different transactions, nothing but different customers are buying fruits from me. So in each transaction, what happens, I identified there are certain transactions where a person buys more than 2 items. Let's say any 2 items, actually more than any 2 items a person is buying from me. So I want to identify these transactions first, and then after identifying these transactions, I want to identify which of the items are going together or nothing but being repeated more than once. Then I can frame or I can promote those certain items to the customers who are buying one of those items from this set which I have identified previously. So as I am having here 5 different types of fruits. So what will be my hash tree looks like? The first hash tree might looks like in the 5 different, let's say one, the pineapple is not being purchased with any other fruits. Let's say these 4 fruits are being purchased together most of the times. Then what happens is these 4 can be taken as 4 transactions actually. Apple, orange, banana, and guava will be 4 different types of transactions here, or 4 different types of hashes. And these hashes will be combined together. Let's say apple and oranges are purchased together, and here banana and guava are purchased together. So this will be one set of hash or nothing but one data set, small subset. And again, if we compare, these 2 might be purchased together by some other customer, or maybe very few customers might have purchased all 4 together. Apple, orange, banana, and guava together. Maybe only out of 10 customers, only 2 customers brought all 4 together. But there will be apple and oranges being purchased by 4 customers, and banana and guava being purchased by a different 4 customers actually. Not the same 4 customers which are being purchased, which are buying the apple and oranges. These may be a different 4 customers may be buying these. But out of these 2, there will be only 2 common customers, nothing but 2 transactions which are having these both values in it. Here we can say how many out of the total transactions we consider that apple is being purchased 6 times. Nothing but 6 times it is being repeated, and oranges is being repeated 4 times. Let's say banana is being purchased 6, let's say, or let's say banana is being purchased 4 times. Guava is purchased 3 times, let's say. So how whenever out of these 4 customers who are buying banana, 3 customers are buying guava. That means what will be the common value for these 2? It will be 3. And what is the how many customers are buying apple? 6. How many customers are buying oranges? 4. That means how many customers might be buying these 2 together? Maybe only 3 customers might be buying these 2 together. 1 customer might be only buying oranges, and 3 customers might be only buying apples. But the other 3 customers might be buying both together. So how many customers might be in common here? Maybe only 1 customer might be purchasing all 4 together. Other 2 customers might be buying only this subset only. So this is how I identify the value, how many times it is being repeated. After finding out the repetitions, we will try to identify the minimum support value. Here this 1, 2, 1, 3, 4, whichever we are finding the frequency. What do we said? The frequency is nothing but the frequency is nothing but the total support, right? So how can we use the minimum support value here? We can identify this one transaction is being taken, is being done for all 4 products. That means whenever a customer comes and purchases these 2 together, we might ask if they want to buy something from these 2 as well. But how many customers are buying this? Maybe 1. But here the 1 should be the minimum value. Only then we can identify the probability of this thing happening. Let's say if our support value minimum is 2, then probability of having this customer who is buying all 4 together will be gone. we will not be considering. Actually, we might have in our data set, but we will not consider it as a purchase happening. We will only stop our hashes still here, and this will be one hash or one data set which we find one association rule, and here we will find another association rule, and we neglect this association rule here as a less support which we are not being identified with respect to our support. So this is how we try to identify which two elements goes together. I will go with another example with a certain data set. Actually, you can even identify through data sets, and you can count your count the frequency of it together, and we can even frame few association rules to it by the end of this PPT or this presentation. Coming to the next slide here, we can see what are the different steps which we will be performing in an a priori algorithm. There will be 4 different steps, and these 4 steps needs to be performed. Even if we go with the coding part, or even if we are going by hand, trying to find out the frequency without any coding. Let's say we have a small data set and we are trying to find out the values by hand. We can even do it, but these 4 steps need to be done. What will be the first step? First step, we will be identifying the minimum value which we need for the support and confidence. Sometimes we may identify it with respect to the elements. In the previous here we said only one transaction is being happening. Let's say if I take the support value as 1, then I can consider this as one association rule, and we can identify the strength of that association rule. It will be just nothing but 1 by 100, because only one transaction is being happened. Out of 10 transactions, certain transaction is being happened. Only 10% chances of that may be occurring, but there is certain chance, right? So similarly, if we want to identify certain rules, or maybe I can neglect that and I can go with the other, because there is 30% chance here, 3 by 10, right? 3 out of 10 transactions are happening, so I can go with 30% here. But what is this 30% and 10%? Is nothing but this is our support values here. We need to identify the minimum support value which we require, and the minimum confidence value which we require, and with respect to that we need to go with the next items. But how can we identify? We can just go with all the 4 steps and we can easily identify that, or we can frame it with respect to our previous data sets if we already have. Let's say I have a huge data set of transactions from last 1 month, and I have applied all the different association rules for it. I identified all the different association rules of different data sets in it, I mean item sets in it. And after finding out these association rules, now I am applying these on the real time, let's say, and everyday transactions, whatever I'm happening, I'm trying to find out if there are any new transactions or the new association rules I can find, or maybe the old association rules itself are working. But whether to identify if there are any new association rules are happening, or if the old one are still sustaining, we need to have certain value or certain support level for our previously identified association rules, and we will compare it with the newly identified association rule with only considering the daily transaction data, and we can we may identify that there might be a new association rule or new transaction which might new type of transactions which might have give us more support value. Then obviously we will try to include this in our set of association rules which we have identified already, and the chances of pushing more products to the customers will increase. So that is how we identify the minimum support value or the minimum confidence value. Coming to the second step, after finding out these, after determining these, we will go with we will identify these support values and the confidence values of different subsets of that data sets, or we can say at each and every stage we will go. We will find out minimum the other transactions actually which are having more value, more support value than this minimum value which we have already established. Let's say I have a support minimum value of 2, and I have identified a new transactions. Let's say I have identified a new set of items which are being purchased in a daily run. According to the previous month's data, I identified a certain set of association rules. With respect to that, I have identified 2 might be my least minimum value. Then only I can identify a certain data, a certain association rule. After putting that as 2, now I have been collecting the data daily. With respect to the today's data or maybe yesterday's data, I again try to find out if there are any set of new associations or nothing but a set of new different item sets which are being purchased more frequently by many people. And if I identified any such rule which is having certain support level, and that support is compared with the previous minimum support which I have established already, and if it is more than that support value, we will just take this new rule which we have identified and we will add it to the set of rules which we have already established. If we find out that this new item which we have identified, if the support value of it is less than the previous support value which we have established, then we will not add to it and we will neglect this and we will go to identify other new different association rules. That is the second step. And the third step will be which subsets are having higher confidence and the higher support level of these two. Actually, this step 2 identifies supports and the step 3 identifies the confidence. If whether the support is higher than the previously established support or not, and this one identifies the confidence, whether it is more confident or not. The confidence value is nothing but it is from the confidence formula which I have previously shown in the starting slides. And coming to step 4, after we identify different set of new or maybe previously established association rules, we will go and place them, we will sort them in a decreasing order of lift value. How to identify lift value? We identify lift value with the formula of lift. What is the formula of lift? Is nothing but the support value of 2 items or the set of items all together divided by support multiplication of support of each and every element in it, or each and every sub element of it. How that association being happened. So sorry, with respect to that, we identify, we sort them. Actually, after sorting them, we check which association rules lift is more, and if the association lift is more than 1, those items which are having more than 1 or the highest. Let's say I have a lift of let's say 3 for certain set of items. That means it is a lot more than 1. That means that certain element or the certain set of items goes together in my store more frequently than any other items. That means I need to have as much stock as possible for these 2 items, and I need to put these 2 items together, and also if possible I need to put this near the entrance or maybe a place where the customer finds it more easy to come approach and buy it. Doing that, I would even increase the sales, and in turn it will increase the lift as well. So that is how we try to focus. Whichever the transactions are showing that there is a lift, or that the lift value of certain transaction or nothing but certain set of data items is more, obviously we will try to push them more and we will try to increase our sales. That is how the a priori algorithm goes with these 4 steps. Now let's go and do it with an example. Actually, in this example we have these are all transactions here, T1, T2, T3. These are all transactions, and each transaction the certain customer is buying different elements. The first transaction customer is buying A and B, and the second customer is buying B and D, third customer is buying B and C. Like that, there are different transactions here. And in the example we have already have the minimum support and minimum confidence values given by the problem. Actually, it is a problem. In this problem, we can see that the minimum support value is 2 and the minimum confidence is 50. So now we need to identify different set of data items which we can frame into a different hash actually, and in those hashes we can identify which set of different items is having more support value than 2, and the more support value, more confidence value than 50, and we can try to frame a association rule with that, and then we can even sort it with respect to the value of lift. So firstly we need to identify what are the different item sets, items we are having here. If we identify, we can see that A, B, C, D, E are the different item sets we are having. That means we have all A, B, C, D, E. There are no other items which are more than these. So we are having 5 different items we are selling, and these are the sales happening in our store, or we can say in our shop. So how many times A is being repeated? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. A is being repeated 6 times. How many times B is being purchased? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times B is being purchased. How many times C is being purchased? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times C is being purchased. How many times D is being purchased? 1, 2, only 2 times. And how many times E is being purchased? Only 1 time. Now we can say this is nothing but the frequency or the support value goes with it. So as we are going with the minimum support value of 2, we will remove this E and we will go with only these A, B, C, D as our data items which are having minimum support value, and we will try to identify if there are any combinations of these data items going together. So this is actually the first step which we can see here. In first step we identify the C1, nothing but the candidate set 1, and the L1 is nothing but the frequency item set 1. In the candidate item set 1, we will just identify the number of times each item is being repeated, purchased, each item is being purchased. We can see A, B, C, D, E. I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, here this value is written wrong. It is 6 actually. So the support value of 6, C is 6, and after identifying this, what I have said, we will remove this last row because it is showing the support value of only 1, but our minimum support value is 2. So we go with only this data set to the further step where we will identify different relationships between the more than one item of this item sets which we identified here. This will be the frequent item set 1. So if we go to the step 2, here we will be trying out combinations. How many elements which we have here? We have A, B, C, D. So 4. Actually, if we take 4 items and each 2 of them together, if we place them 2 of them together, we can identify there will be A and B together, AC, AD, BC, BD, and CD. That means there are total 6 different combinations which we can find out with these 4 elements. In those 6 combinations, how many times these are being occurring in our transactions? A and B together, how many times are happening here? 1, 2, 3, 4. So A and B is happening 4 times together. That is what it is showing here. And A and C together, how many times A and C is being happening in our transactions? We can identify 1, 2, 3, 4 times it is happening. So similarly, if we identify A and D, it is happening 1 time, and B and C 4 times, and B and D 2 times. So from this, actually, again, C and D is never happened. Leave it. So we can identify, again, we need to compare this with our minimum frequency, minimum support level. Our minimum support level is 2. So we will remove this A, comma D and C, comma D, because they are not following our minimum set of minimum preset rules. So what happens is the other 4 combinations will be taken as our frequent item set 2. So now that we have our other set, now we need to identify next level. Next level is nothing but more than 2 items. These are 2 items together, right? We need to go now with 3 items together. How many different 3 item sets we can identify with these 4 elements? We can go with ABC together. We can go with ABD together. How many different we can identify? ABC, ABD, ACD, and What else we can find? BCD. Any other types you can find? ACD, nothing but ADC also will come there. So these are 4 sets actually. There are 4 different sets which we can identify. Nothing but 4 different 3 set items which we can identify in these 4 item sets. Whatever those 4, those are nothing but ABC, BCD, ACD, and ADB. And how many times these occurred in our real transactions? If we identified ABC occurred twice, ACD occurred once, and remaining 2 set of transactions never occurred. That means again, with respect to our support level, if we consider these 3 sets doesn't have the minimum support level of 2, so we will only go with this ABC support level, which we have 2 here. So now we identified these different frequent sets here, and if we go with only 3 identified here, that means A, B, C is our only final focus. We are not taking D, E as our focus at all. We are only focusing on A, B, C because these 3 are being purchased more number of times. These 3 these 3 data items are being purchased, or these 3 items are being purchased from our shop more frequently than any other items being purchased together. So if we take ABC is being purchased together more times, how to identify these support values? This is what we go with the 4th step actually. In the 4th step, we identify the confidence actually. We have identified support, right? We compared which of the elements is having more support than the previous. So here we identified these are having more support than the previous, and here we identified these are having more support than the minimum value. So we now need to identify the confidence of getting this ABC is nothing but whenever a customer coming to purchase any one of these items, A or B or C, or maybe any 2, whenever a customer comes, that customer to purchase the other items as well from this ABC, from this set of ABC. So how can we identify the confidence? Like which elements could code together, or nothing but what is the confidence of occurring a certain type of transaction whenever a customer is coming to purchase 1 or maybe 2 items from this data set. How many different approaches we can identify? There are actually 6 different approaches we can identify. What is that? A person coming to buy A and B together, he might purchase the item C, or the customer coming to purchase B and C together, he might purchase the item A. Similarly, customer coming to buy C and A together, he might purchase the item B. Also, we can frame the other rules, rules here. These are actually different association rules, but we need to find out the confidence of these association rules. Then only we can compare with our minimum confidence, which we have established already. Then we can say whether to go with these association rules or not. So what will be the other rules if a person comes to buy only A? The chances or the confidence of buying the other 2 is nothing but this. If the person comes to purchase only B, the chances of he making the purchase of other 2 is less. If the person coming to purchase only C, the confidence of nothing but the chances of he purchasing the other 2 items is this. Is nothing but here we can identify these 3 association rules which we have identified here are not having minimum confidence of 50%. 50% is nothing but 0.50. So here the values are less than 0.50. That means the confidence of these 3 rules happening, or the chances of occurrence of these 3 rules is low. Now what happens here? If we can identify here, the confidence here is 0.50. That means the chances of occurrence of these 3 rules is high. But what are these 3 rules here? Nothing but whenever a customer comes to buy item A and item B together, the chances of him buying the third product is 50-50. Or nothing but 50% chance is there that the customer might buy the third product. That means we can promote or we can show him the third product and ask if whether he would like to buy the buy that product or not whenever a customer is buying two products. So these three rules actually can be set into one rule, nothing but if there are items A, B, C, these three might be complementing each other, nothing but whenever a customer wants to buy any two of these, the chances of he purchasing the third one is more than our confidence, minimum confidence or the required level is nothing but the chances are more, so he might be purchasing the third product as well. So this is how we identify or we can find out whether there are any association rules between them, or how to frame these association rules, how to identify from the association rules from the data set. This is how it happens. Here we have not calculated the lift value yet. We can even calculate the lift value of this is nothing but support of as we have already said here, the formula of lift is the support of two things divided by support of one into other. So if we identify here, let's calculate for this transaction here happening A, B and C together, means the support of AB together and ABC, actually the support of ABC together first, the support of ABC together, what will be that support of ABC, AB comma C together divided by support of A comma B into support of C. What will be this value of support of A, B, C together? As we have identified, it is 2. So it is actually support value go with the overall transactions is 9. So 2 by 9 divided by support of A comma B. What will be the support of A comma B? A comma B is 4, right? So it goes like 4 divided by 9 into the support of C. What will be the support of C? The support of C is 6, right? So 6 by 9. This will be the lift. If we identify this, this goes multiply with that. So 9 to 18 by 6 4 24. This is actually showing less than 1. That means the lift value is less than 1 here. So the occurrence of this might be not as high as we have identified here. The association, there is an association rule here. There is an association between these elements together, but the chances of them going together might not be as high as we have predicted or as high as we have expected. So lift value is the what finally we identify whether this association rules go with or not. That is how we identify different association rules, or which different item sets or the data item sets goes together. Then we can sell those items together and make more money. So what are here in the last slide we can see the advantages and the disadvantages of this a priori algorithm. It is very easy to understand, as you have previously understood. I think everyone is clear with the a priori algorithm. If you have any doubts, please ask me. In the last, coming to the other advantage, it is easy to implement on large data sets. Even if you have a huge data set, you can easily even do it manually. If you have the data items of less than 10 or maybe 20, you can do it with hand actually. It actually depends on the number of data items, right? If you are having less data items, nothing but the number of, if you are having less items which you are selling in your shop, you can even do it manually. But if you are having more items which you are selling, then you might have to use some softwares or some other algorithms or nothing but other codes with which we can identify these relationships. But it is very easy to implement and easy to understand. But what are the disadvantages of it is very slow. It takes a lot of time because it compares each and every step, each and every element. I have forgot to mention you the breadth first, right? I mentioned that we go with the breadth first search. But how this breadth first search happens is, here I have mentioned we have this whole hash tree, right? This is called hash tree. And what happens here? First, we take this part where the common, all the elements which are going together, and then from there we go the first left, then from here we go right again, as because there is no other right element it here, we go here, then again from here we go to the first element here, then we go right again. Whenever there are other elements in the same row, whenever there are other data items in the same row, we first give more preference to that data item or nothing but that data set to identify if there are any association rules or not. There is another technique which we are not, it is not in the appropriate algorithm. That other technique actually deals with the length first, nothing but first it identifies if there are any relationships here, then it will try to identify if there are relationships here, then it will try to identify any relationships here. That's how it goes. But here in our let me first clear this, you might easily identify them. See, in the breadth first algorithm, what happens? It first it takes in the first row, then it goes with the second row. First it then identifies if there are any association rules here. Then it will go for the third row, and if there are any association rules here, then it will go with the fourth row, like that. That is how the breadth search will happen. Breadth first search will happen. And coming to the other disadvantage is the performance might be a little low because it is scanning all the data sets again and again and again. Because it wants to find out the frequency, right? Whenever it is finding out the frequency of certain elements being like the certain data, certain items which are being purchased or which are being purchased in certain transactions, it will be going on searching the transactions again and again and again if there are any combinations or if there are any more than one element being purchased, one item being purchased to get again and again. That is why it takes a lot of time. It is very slow when compared to other algorithms, and also it might perform little low because the overall items might rate like the it takes time to scan again and again the same elements it is trying to scan and again. That is one disadvantage of this a priori algorithm. And that's it, guys. If you have any queries, please ask me. Please let me know if you have any queries. If we don't have any queries, our Kalyan will continue the coding part of it, like how can we perform the same a priori algorithm with the help of Python, and he will show you how this works. And I think he has certain data set where he can show you all the steps which we have talked right now. Do you have any questions? Okay, Kalyan, would you like to take it over?
Yes, Gokul. I will continue with the question.
Thank you, Kalyan.
Thank you, Gokul. So, once again, good afternoon, friends. So, in this session, I would like to first thank Gokul for explaining the theoretical part regarding the a priori algorithm. So, let me quickly start with the a priori algorithm. A priori algorithm. So, let us take a Python Jupyter Notebook file, and let us first install the module package which is required to this algorithm. For that purpose, you need to set like pip install apri a priori APY ORI. Please check spelling. And if you have this package earlier, it would throw a command like requirement already satisfied. So if there is no package, then it will install the package. So our we need to import some functions like so initially, let us import the a priori algorithm. So from package a priori, we will import the function, the name as a priori. So check the spellings. and don't make the case sensitive mistakes. So a priori is the package name, whereas a priori is the algorithm name. That is the function name which is being taken. Then also import the basic functions, like let us use pandas. As you also know, there will be some other packages, numpy, snp, matplotlib, the python plot, let me say as mlt, like that. For this package, for this algorithm, we require pandas as well as a priori algorithm. That's enough for this package. But for your comfort, let us continue with the what we are being carried from the previous sessions. So uh, let me show you the data first, so that so here I created my Jupyter Python notebook file, and my data is the store data. So I have my data same location where my Jupyter notebook is being created. So it is easy to import if we are having in that, if we are facing in that scenario. So this will be our data, uh, where you will be having like this is a transaction, that is nothing but a recorded book, where how many items are being purchased, what items are being purchased over a year or a week for a company. Let us say like XYZ company is selling, like XYZ supermarket is there, and it recorded the transactions that are being done. So few customers bought these items across a week. So you can see like in shrimps like burgers and almonds like meatballs, avocado milk. In avocado, it's like eggs, energy bar, shallot, green tea, like that. There are different for shrimp and almonds and avocado, vegetable mix, like that. It is a data which is collected from a store. So previously we have talked about you need to pre-process the data with the missing values as well as some outliers. But here we are not going to consider the missing values as well as the outliers, because a customer can buy any amount of data. Like one can buy like uh, one product, some other can buy like 5 or 10 or 100 even. So based upon that, there will be obviously some missing values. Uh, the data will be keep on missing. Just we arrange the data in a structured manner, so each and everything can be understood by the machine, so that it will be easy for the analysis. So all these blank values will be taken as a number, like missing values NaNs. And here you can see like if a person has purchased like burgers with meatballs and eggs, then like turkey like with avocado, mineral water with milk, energy bar, whole wheat rice, green tea. That's so above about there are 7,500 rows here. So let me import this data into our Jupyter notebook so that you can analyze this. So let me store it in the data. So the data can be read like using pandas. So PD is our name tag which we took here. So pandas represents as PD. So PD dot read underscore CSV is the command which we use to import the data from as a CSV file. If you want to import, you use read underscore CSV. So our data is named as store underscore data dot CSV. As this is a name of the data, you need to string character. It is in character, so you need to specify it in the quotations. So our data is getting has loaded. So let us read the data for top 10 rows. So you can see like there are around missing values are present very usually, but we can have missing values here because we have earlier discussed like a customer can buy any quantity of food. So let me like let us visualize the shape. So the shape is like 7,500 rows. That is 7,500 of recording transactions as well as 20 rows represents the 20 up to 20 quantities. What quantities like what varieties they purchase. So this is the data which is available to us. Let us also visualize what are the data types of each and every variable it have. It's like about 20 variables are having different set of data types. Each is taken as a data object, and only olive oil is taken considered as a float value in decimals. So here you have earlierly, like uh, it need to perform certain set of operations like iterative operations by comparing let us say if we take burgers, you need to calculate the support of the burgers, then the confidence levels between the burgers as well as some meatballs like that. And if there is any lift, what will be the lift between these? It is equal to 1, or it is less than 1, or it is greater than 1. You need to classify like that. So if you are considering only two values, let us say burgers and meatballs, so it will compare with these two. So in order to that, for the whole data set that is having 7,500 rows and about 20 columns, it need to perform set of operations like initially two combination of operations, then the combinations will be increased for three set, like burgers, meatballs, and eggs will be of a set item set. Here later upon performing various operations, it will take like meatballs and eggs, also turkey, avocado, and something else, mineral water, milk energy, whole rice, energy, whole wheat rice, and green tea, as well as some milk, wheat, and green tea. Like that, there will be set of combinations it will generate. So everything need to be run in a loop. For that purpose, I have earlierly ran a command so that there will be no loss of time here, because running a iteration process for 7,500 of rows and columns took me around half an hour to execute. It depends upon your PC speed. So I'm sharing the previous data which I have earlierly ran. Uh, in that in earlier sessions, I have we ran me and Gokul ran some live coding, but in this session, I'm going to share the pre-existing code which I ran earlier about an hour ago. So let me share like let us take a empty list that is named as records. This is used to like collect the what are the results, so that each and every result will be stored sequentially. So let me take some empty list like records for I in transactions. That is nothing but I will be starting from in the range of I in range of 0 to 7,500, which means the indexing starts from 0 and the last variable that is 7,500 is exclusive. So the records will be like 0 to 7499, which means all the 7,500 transactions will be run. So here I is nothing but I will start from 0 and end with 7,500. So it will be like I equal to 0, I equal to 1, I equal to 2. That like iteration carries on for 7,500 times. And so for each and every time it need to record a value like for records need to be appended. That is nothing but this empty uh, list is being filled for that to be filled sequentially with the data. So for that purpose, it is going to append. Append is used to continuously store the data sequentially for every iteration. So you are going to take the string value that is nothing but our character, that is the object which we are considering, like meat or milk, green tea, like that. Every string operation is being considered with the data values of data is nothing but our data set which you have stored earlier in the data variable. So data dot values nothing but it retrieves the values of the data, that is nothing but it takes burgers, meatballs, eggs as in values here, individual values. So all those values in the combinations of 0 that is suppose I comma j, here I indicates the rows, that is nothing but which we have considered earlier, the I will be starting with 0 and ending with 7500. Suppose if we take 0, it will execute the first row. So this will be the first row where burgers will be the stored as I, that is 0, and if I equal to 0 and j is 1. So if j is 1, that is it will execute the first column. If j is 2, it will go with the second column. Then if j is 3, it will go with third column. If I after completion the I equal to 0 iteration, it will move towards the I equal to 1. Then again the j equal to 1, j equal to 2, j equal to 3 need to be run. So the for loop need to be ran inside a for loop. So initially the x need to be iterated after iterating all the values in the columns in column wise. So for that after specifying the I and j, you will run like for j in range of 0 to 20. So this means, so if j equal to 0, it means it is in the first column. If j equal to 1, it needs it is in second column. So as the loop it specifies up to 20. The 20 is an exclusive. So 0 to 19 means first 20 columns. So like this, each and every combinations will be run. For your understanding, why I am showing the pre-existing code, I will show you. So let me run this code here. You can see still the code is being run. So if you are having a supercomputer with high speed of 1 Gbps, like that, it will execute maybe in seconds or minutes. But depending upon your system speed, it may vary. Some may take off more than half an hour to 1 hour. So let me quickly move on to pre-existing code so that we can save more time. And moving on to next step, that is nothing but rules. Rules is nothing but a variable which we store. Like we are giving setting some rules. Like we are asking, okay, you have the store data. So let me ask you something. So give me some. What are the 5 products that are what is the products that are being purchased 5 times in a day? So they require suppose 5 times in a day. So if a product is being purchased 5 times in a day per a week, it takes about 5 into 7, 35. So let me add a rolling. Per day, 5 times a product is being purchased. So and per week it will be like 5 into 7 days, that equal to it will be purchased 35 times. So as we are having the data with me in weekly per a week, so the data available for me is a week data. So we are going to multiply with 7 so that the product must be purchased 35 times. If you consider a day record data, so you can take directly as a 5. So here the support, like that is nothing but let us suppose A is a product that is being purchased 5 times per day. So it must be purchased 35 times per a week. So you need to calculate the initially the support. So the support will be like purchasing the quantity. So support will be like how many times the A product is being purchased by total number of transactions. So if you take suppose 35 by some, totally it has some 7,500 transactions. So you can see like 35 by 7,500. It will show some 0.0046667. So if you consider like that, you will get some support data. As similarly, you require some confidence value. So confidence is nothing but how the product is being purchased in a set wise. So for that, you need to iterate with other products. So we have, if we assume some B product, so it will be like how much, mm, after purchasing A, how many of them are purchasing in combination of B and to the total of A, that is support of A, that will give our confidence. Similarly, here I just assumed we require 5 times a product is being purchased. So that based upon that, you will set some rules like my confidence must be at least zero point 0.2. So these are the rules you are giving to that. There may be various confidences that will be generated, but only the set of products, that is nothing but set of different item sets. If it is having some green tea, some vegetables, having more than minimum confidence has more than zero point 0.2, only those will be considered, and rest all the iterations that is nothing but combinations will be left off. So similarly, you will be identifying like my lift must be greater than 3. So in generally you require a lift is greater than 1 is to be considered. So based upon your purpose, you can give the rules to the algorithm. So I am here giving 3. If you want to give 1, 1 is nothing but they are not, they are independent to each other. Let us give more than 1 so that you can get some uh, appropriate results. So more than one need to be need to be instructed here, and I am saying like there must be at least combination of two products. So let me say milk and bread. So every customer must purchase at least two products. Only those records and combinations you show me. So my minimum length is 2. So so that the results in rules our list will be stored like what are the records, that is nothing but all the iterations which we have appended in the records list will be subsetted with minimum support which are having 0.0045 and minimum confidence levels as 0.2 and lift as 3, and only in combinations of other products, that is minimum two products need to be purchased by every customer. So only those records, those iterations, those products you need to identify. So all those are stored in rules, but I have specified the rule list of rules because all to for our visualization purpose, if all the data is represented in list, in a list is easy to view. So uh, overall you can see the length of results will be some 48. If you want to see like how a results look like, you can see. So this is how a results look like. So for our visualization purpose, uh, each and previously it will be worse than this, so I have stored in a list so that you can even identify this as a first record, this will be our second record, So like that there will be of some 48 records which fall under this rule set. So these are the rules which we gave, and these are the results which fall under this category. So you have 48. Okay, then let us say let us visualize the first thing as this. So it means it is going to execute the items between the items like light ice cream and chicken. This is the first combination it have identified with the support more than 0.0045, and the ordered statistics will be some it will be like both the light ice cream and the chicken with the confidence of 0.29, where we have specified our rule as 0 more than minimum at least 0.2. So our condition is satisfied here, where the lift is more than 3. So 4.84 is more than 3. So our condition satisfies here. So this is how our iteration process takes place, and it identifies the result. So entirely you got 48 records that you give the instructions. So for that purpose, to visualize each and everything, you need to run some code like for each thing is stored as an item in this records. So for every item in results. So results contain of 48 records, sorry, 48 items. So each item that is with starting with pair item equal to 0, that is nothing but first item. We take it as a pair. So let the items can be of x for x, that is nothing but in a pair we will be having two items. So we will be taking first item and second item to say like that. So x for x says like first thing it need to be considered like light ice cream, and the second thing need to be considered like a chicken. So for that we are going to specify like x for x in pair. So later you will be identifying uh, the items will be uh, stored like light ice cream is an item and chicken will be an item, some other thing can be of some item. So like that we are printing, like for our visualization purpose you are going to say like your rule is uh, here rule is an character, so we denoted it as an in quotations, and we need to add the plus symbol so that the data takes like after printing a character or a string, then you need to print an item. So plus in items of 0 contains initially the light ice cream. So light ice cream name will be considered, and then an arrow mark which is stored as a string will be presented and need to be denoted in the quotations. And as well the items with chicken is considered as items as one, that is the second item. Here the indexing start with 0, so this will be the first item and this will be our second item. So the combinations between these both, like who are purchasing the light ice cream and then also purchasing the chicken, is our rule here. So it is having a support like uh, where the in item of one the support value is being represented previously in the results. Here the item is initially the item will be first item will be the combination, second item will be the support, third will be the lift, like that. So uh, for that purpose for item of 1 gives you the support. Similarly for confidence, in item of 202, that is nothing but uh, this is the first thing, this is considered as 0, this will be of 1, and this will be of 2 division. So in 0 in second in 2 means 1, 2, 3, and 4. So like that the items are divided. So based upon that, to retrieve the confidence value here, it will take like in item the third set of on the first value. In the first value you need to consider the second thing. This is to be represented for our purpose. It is visualized like this. It can be better visualized in any other way to get the confidence value. So similarly for the to retrieve the lift which you have identified here, you can also retrieve this. So if we run this code, you will clearly visualize this earlier records data individually. So previously this is one record and this will be our second record. You have identified the what are the combinations and the confidence levels and the lift. For better visualization purpose, I wrote this code and you can identify with by separating line so that how see in the combination of light cream and chicken in mushroom cream sauce and escalope, that like that escalope and pasta. So like that these are the combinations that are being purchased five that is like 35 times in a week in combinations. If you change these combinations, let me suppose at least there are some three products and my lift is greater than suppose 4. So there are certain results and previously we have 48. Now in three combinations, that is nothing but minimum length 3 represents the there must be 3 set of combinations and at least a customer purchased 3 products. So only those transactions will be will be considered and minimum the lift must be 4. So in that set of rules, it retrieves only 10 results. Previously we have two in combination of two, that is a set is having two items, at least a customer must purchase two items and also the lift must be greater than 3. If you are changing the rules, the length of results will be changed. Again if you want to if you want to run, if you want to arrange this in a visualized manner, so you can identify these will be the results. Every combination is having like more than 4. At least a customer purchases 3, but the combinations ran here will be between 2. If we suppose light cream chicken and pasta, light cream and chicken will be run between a command and also chicken and pasta will be executed later. So that is how uh, the appropriate algorithm works. If you are having any doubts with the code or any topic, you can ask now. So no one is having any doubts?
Kalyan.
Yes, Anushka.
Thanks, Kalyan.